Trigger, trigger, trigger. I've become a fan, begrudgingly, of Obamacare. Now, before you get away and say, I can't believe you've gone left, Josh. No, 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 no. Still right wing libertarian, but also in reality. All right, I'm going to share a story with you that happened with a client of mine many, many moons ago when I first started as a broker. Has a guy named Rudy. Never forget Rudy, man. A good guy. The first guy I had with over seven figures. My first client with over seven figures. And it's just a wonderful guy, good Christian guy, conservative as all can be. And I remember in 2006, did he come to my, I think he came to a seminar I did or something like that. Or maybe I can't remember. But anyway, 2006, we're ramping up for the off-year elections. And George Allen was running against Jim Webb. And I'll never forget, Rudy was about 58, 59 back then. All right, he had worked his way up from essentially the floor to become an executive with his building supply company. And every now and again he had to go back on the floor to do some grunt work, and his body was just he was not in a good place physically. He had some heart conditions. He wasn't heavy. I mean, he was big, but he wasn't he wasn't obese. Maybe I guess and whatever, but he wasn't like you wouldn't look at him and say, "Oh, that guy's obese." You know what I'm saying? But he was a big guy. And he didn't smoke, you know what I'm saying? He probably didn't get enough exercise. But at the end of the day, he wasn't like one of those guys, wheeling around at Walmart, because he's 500 pounds. Not like that at all. Good guy. Conservative as all can be. And we're getting around talking. He goes, yeah, I'm probably going to vote for Jim Webb. I was like, what? He goes, look, I can't stay at this job until I'm 65 years old. I think it was like 58, 59. I remember he wasn't quite 60 yet. He goes, I can't. My body, I'm going to die before then. Because he could not, his body was just dying, man. I mean, it wasn't like imminent, but he was winding down. He couldn't do it anymore. And he goes, and I have to go get health care, but I have to stay here because I got these metaphorical golden handcuffs. And he goes, I can't keep doing this job for another 5, 6, 7 years. I just can't. I physically can't do it. And if I leave, what do I do for health care? Now remember, always, health insurance does not equate to health care. All right? Health insurance does not. You can have all the insurance you want, but if you don't have care, it doesn't matter. Just always remember. I always find it funny. I got health care. How? I got Obamacare. Well, that's health insurance. That's not care. If that makes sense. Try having health care as trying to raise a baby, to deliver a baby in West Virginia. All right, I guarantee, at least it was 10, 15 years ago, you're coming down the hill to Virginia because there's no OBGYNs in the eastern part of Western Virginia because the liability is too high. So you might have all the health insurance you want, but you have no health care, if that makes sense, if you're trying to have a baby in the eastern part of Western Virginia. Now that I don't know if that's still the case because West Virginia is the deepest red state now, but be it as it may, there was no OBGYNs in eastern part of Western Virginia because they couldn't afford the liability malpractice. So always remember, health insurance does not equate to health care. Now in Rudy's case, where we lived, there was pretty adequate coverage because there's hospitals and universities and whatnot. So if he could get health insurance, right, outside of his company and leave, he'd still be covered, not just with health insurance, but most likely health care, if that makes sense. And so it wasn't as I don't want to equate health insurance, health care there, but it was somewhat synonymous in that regard, but not all over the country. And remember, this is not that far outside of Washington, D.C. either. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, and I remember in 2006, after the 2006, when the Democrats did pretty well, George Allen lost, the macaca moment on YouTube. I'd never heard of YouTube and other things, and the Democratic wave was building up for 2008. But I'll never forget in the run-up to 2008 with Obama, I'll never forget Nancy Pelosi saying, how would your life be different if you didn't have to worry about health care? What would you do? As opposed to staying in your crap little job. Now, she didn't say crap little job, but it was such a good argument. I was like, Nancy, why don't you? But then, they can't. They have to have this false dichotomy of left versus right. Left is good, right is bad. Right is good, left is bad at all times. And it's just, but it was such a good argument. I remember Rudy. I said, man, why don't you guys stay with that argument? Because it's hugely valid. But what Nancy didn't say, Chuck and Nancy, what Nancy didn't say, and what I know, because I've been in this business for so long, the vast majority of us, we don't actually need health care to the extent that you are told. We don't have that much of a need for health care. A lot of us, we can go to a doctor, pay out of pocket, just like you go get your oil change, pay out of pocket and move on. But having the catastrophic coverage, this is where the health savings account, the high deductible health plan is so wonderful. You just have catastrophic coverage. If I have a heart attack, I want to make sure it doesn't put me out of bankruptcy, put me out of business. But if I need to just get some basic, strep throat swab, if I need to get friggin', I don't know, a prostate exam, I can pay for that out of pocket. If I have something significant, though, that's a $10,000 deductible. It doesn't have, I'm telling you right now, the issue is that we've been trained to think, oh my goodness, if you don't have health insurance, you're going to be living in a van down by the river turning tricks for $50 for some ramen noodles. It's just not true. The vast majority of us, we pay significantly more than what we need. We are subsidizing those who have the need. And, I got no qualm with that. But you shouldn't stay in your crappy old job slaving away just because you have to subsidize people who use the benefits that you don't. I'll never forget, my dad used to argue this back in the late 80s, early 90s, because he was a huge advocate for health savings accounts, the predecessor's medical savings accounts, patient power, from a guy named John Goodman at the National Center for Policy Analysis, NCPA, which is no longer, too bad. But anyway, patient power. It's kind of like a voucher system for school kids, a school voucher, but it's a medical voucher. We're going to give you the voucher. You buy insurance as you see fit. You see what I'm saying? It's a perfect solution. And I think that's the best free market solution there is. The government will never fully get out of the business of health insurance. I'm just telling you right now. So what I've always said the Republicans should offer, because as a libertarian, light, is say, all right, we're going to get the government involved, no different than Medicare Advantage, but no different than the GI Bill. We'll fund it, but we're going to give you a check, do whatever you want. You see what I'm saying? We will provide catastrophic coverage, yes, through Medicare, right, or the Obamacare, but we're going to give you the ability to go buy your own insurance. I think it's freaking awesome. Anyway, so fast forward all these many moves. All right, so that ideally that would be the case. Medicare Advantage is a voucher system. GI Bill is a voucher system. No, these things are not socialism. Again, they could be considered fascist in that regard, and that doesn't bother me. But fast forward to today, I cannot tell you how many people are in pretty good shape. Could lose a couple pounds. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the club. They're 56, 57, just got off the horn with the guys, he and his wife, 58, 60. You know what I'm saying? And she has prescription drug needs, right? And then he's in pretty good health, man. And he's just, just a blue-collar guy. It's just interesting. I'm going to do another video here in just a second on the whiteboard, kind of talk about their circumstances. And obviously, you won't know who they are. But I'm sitting there thinking, why are we telling people that you can't free yourself from your crappy old corporate wokeism job until 65 or Medicare kicks in? So Obamacare is the what's the solution to that? Is that such a bad thing? Is that such a bad thing to say, all right, we're going to have this government subsidized health insurance, not necessarily health care, I grant you, but a lot of us don't need the healthcare part. They just don't. And look, I'm not saying don't get tests. I'm not saying don't get your prostate and your colon. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying some basic catastrophic coverage, the primary care physician, that you pay for the bulk on the front end, and then if it goes above a certain threshold, $5,000-$10,000, which it probably won't most years, the insurance kicks in. That's like the perfect quasi free market solution, the best we can get. And Obamacare allows that. It allows it. It says, look, they don't say this, but I do. You, my friends, are probably not going to need significant health care. But if you do, isn't it nice to have the catastrophic coverage with the pre-existing conditions already put in there? And the answer is yes. And as such, Obamacare is there for you. Pre-existing coverage. The catastrophic, the premiums might be high if you're making money, and then, so you got to do some tax planning, right? Huh? Not that hard to do. But if you're not making that much money, maybe the median income, household income in the U.S. is about $60,000, $65,000. You're married, filing jointly. You're below 400% of the poverty level. Your premiums ain't gonna be that much because it's subsidized. Is that the worst thing ever happened? You've already paid all that taxes into it. You've already paid your premiums into health insurance for many, many years. Have you actually used it? Have I used it? A lot of men don't, which is why they die early, because they don't go and get the various exams they need to. It doesn't matter. Facts are, we're still paying for it. We're still paying big bucks. So for you to sit there and say, okay, I'm 58 years old, my man Rudy, I'm 59, I have pre-existing conditions. I cannot leave because I got some heart. I can't really. I think he has some heart issues. You know what I'm saying? I got high blood pressure, something like that. Yeah, he could probably stand and lose weight. I get you. Some personal responsibility, 100%. It's hard to do that when you work some crappy little job that's grinding you, though. It's hard to say now. Once you're done with the crappy little job, go run 3 miles. Yeah, you can watch what you eat. I get you. Watching what you eat is harder to do than you think. I can do it because I work from home. But if I had to freaking work, commute, and all that, it's easy just to go pick something up at Chick-fil-A on the way home. It's easy. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is to free yourself, go on Obamacare, just watch your income, so that way you can qualify for the subsidies and leave your crappy little job and then go do something you want to do. That's how I've come to like Obamacare. I wish it better. I wish we didn't freaking eliminate private insurance. But I mean, the facts are, man, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. I actually like what a couple folks in Mexico had told me, that there's basically 2 things in Mexico. One is a private, where you can pay a premium, have better quality care. The second is a public choice, where just anyone, indigent people, whoever doesn't want to pay for the higher quality care, can at least be seen. Now it's going to take forever, like in Canada. The Mexico way might be the way to go. Canada's nuts. I mean, it's like you have to come to America to be seen. They got the free health insurance, but good luck getting seen up there. Here we have, what the hell do we have? I don't know. In Mexico, it seems like that might be the best bet. They have the free coverage for people who don't want to pay more, but then they have the premium coverage if you want to pay more. And I think that's the way to go. You got a public option, and then you got the premium stuff for people who want to pay more. Or you got these DCPs, direct care physicians, DCPs. I did an interview with a lady out in Texas probably 2 years ago. Black doctor, woman, and she was I can't remember her name, but she was fantastic. Oh, you're calling her black? Yeah, because there's just not enough black doctors. It's true. I wish there were more. Oh, the level of talent we're wasting in this society, oh my goodness, it just kills me. But she was a woman, a black woman, a doctor in the Fort Worth area. I forgot her name, but she was fantastic. And she was a DCP, direct care physician. You just pay a monthly fee. And you get your basic direct care, primary care stuff provided. And if you needed to go to the hospital, they arrange all that. You pay some out of pocket, but it frees you from the need. And you get Obamacare as a catastrophic. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a video on these 2 people right here. 4 children, 1 income, 58 for her, 60 for him, $300,000. Can they retire? Yeah, I'll show you why. See ya.